of people are stuck in the same negative cycles, unable to break free or level up their lives because they have not healed. So in today's video, we are unpacking the metaphor of healing the root so that the tree can be stable. Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel where we focus on faith, self-development and lifestyle vlogs. My name is Anesu and I'm so happy to have you here, so click the subscribe button to join the family. The only way to break free of your limitations, known or unknown, and I say unknown because a lot of people never get to see the level that they were destined to reach because they couldn't identify that there was a problem. The only solution is by going back to the root cause of the issues. A tree that has strong roots can stand against storms, and not only that, it can actually use its root to reach the deepest parts of the earth and obtain nutrients to keep it alive. The deeper the roots and the stronger the roots, the more nutrients it's actually able to extract from the soil. So now looking on the other hand, the tree that has damaged roots may appear fine, but it's actually vulnerable. In the same way, a lot of people walk around with unresolved trauma, negative thought patterns and emotional wounds that are hindering their personal growth. No matter what environment you place a tree with damaged roots, it will not survive. Even if you place it in an environment that has the best water supplies, or that has the best sunshine to water ratio, or the most fertile of lands, it will not survive as long as its roots are damaged because it cannot actually absorb the nutrients. And that is the same with us human beings. If we've not taken time to address what we went through in our childhood or even in our adulthood, despite having a lot of opportunities presented to us or blessings coming our way, if you have not taken time to take inventory of your life and process some of the things that you went through that were unfair or disheartening or traumatizing, you may not even see the blessing right in front of you, or you may see it but you won't be able to obtain it, or you may get it and you won't be able to actually keep it. This is because you will be relating to the world from a skewed point of view. And I know you can think to yourself, but it's not my fault. These things happen to me, which is why a lot of people stay comfortable in their pain and hold on to their traumatic events and they feel like they are victims. Yes, I do admit that things happen to us, life happens to us all, and unfair things can happen to us, but it's your choice to have to want to move past situations so that those situations do not define you. You can actually make a decision. You can have two people that come from the same background and they went through the same issues, but one can thrive in life and one could stay stagnant and keep blaming their background. And that is because of choice, the power of choice, of realizing that, okay, I know where I come from is bad, I know what I've experienced is likely supposed to set me back, but I choose to transform my story and not let this cycle continue. I choose to break the cycle instead of continuing on this path of self-destruction. Because no matter how you look at it, even if it was unfair to you, you are responsible for actually taking up that challenge of turning your life around, changing the road from the path that you were supposed to go down to the path that you are possibly able to go. One thing about the human body is that it takes collateral. If you go through a heartbreak, if you are mistreated at work, or if you were bullied in high school and you never really took time to sit back and deal with those things, it takes collateral. And you know what it does? When you're now in your situation that reminds you slightly of whatever you went through in the past, it will either make you want to flee or hide so that you don't have to go through the pain. But if you continue like this, you realize that now you're missing out on opportunities. Maybe you were bullied for not being able to speak well in high school and you never really addressed it and you kept it to yourself and you just decided that you're gonna hide yourself from people to protect yourself, right? But now you're in a work environment where you actually need to be vocal to be noticed, where the people that are vocal and confident are rewarded more, where your work on its own will not suffice and will not be enough to make you stand out. But these limitations are now within you, but the root that they stem from, the damaged root, is that bullying that happened in high school. So that's just one of the examples of how pain and past trauma can derail your progress in life. I've seen a lot of things on social media, from like women that have probably gone through a lot of heartbreak, and instead now they've decided to take the route of saying men are trash, or like the dating pool is bad, or you know, just having negative connotations towards men. And I've realized that most of those women do not end up in wonderful relationships, because honestly they are focusing their attention on only the horrible men, to the point that if a good man even comes, they will think, their brain will tell them that this is too good to be true, and they'll probably either sabotage this relationship so that they can feel in themselves that they were correct. And that's how tricky the mind can become if you do not address your traumas and what you went through, because you could be thinking, I'm trying to find where this guy is gonna mess up, but now you're doing things subconsciously that are actually sabotaging the relationship. Like now that you don't even trust the guy, and you're showing him that you have trust issues, to the point that that could be the root, that could be the reason why the breakup happens. But because your mind was just trying to prove itself right, that because you went through this heartbreak, this is what's gonna repeat, you are constantly self-sabotaging and remaining in that cycle instead of breaking free, because there's that one thing that you didn't deal with. And the funny thing is, you will never know that this is what you're doing until you start taking inventory, until you self-introspect in your life, until you get tired of repeated negative cycles, and you try to find out where they're coming from. And you may come to the solution, you may come to this realization, but if you don't take time to self-introspect, you will never come to a realization that there's something within you that does not want you to succeed. Like it's like your own body has become your worst enemy in your progression. But if you heal, if you let go of those things that defined how life looks like for you, those traumatic moments that were defining moments for you, and that made you go from having a positive outlook on life to being a negative Nancy, or being very pessimistic, or being hopeless because you think the world is doom and gloom. If you don't take time to actually address that and reshape your mind and rewire your mind, you will keep attracting the same cycle of events until you learn, until you choose to walk away from that loop. So the first step would be to actually acknowledge that, hey, what happened to me in the past was not right. What this person did to me was not right. What my friend did to me here was not right, or ex-friend rather. But I am going to change the narrative with the next friendship that I enter into. I'm not going to be holding what this other ex-friend did to me against the next one. I'm not going to allow for the same repetition of cycles, because I would have changed my perspective. I would have changed how I want to receive. Sometimes you can see that men will be like, I don't have a lot of female friends because a lot of female friends hate me. And that actually comes from truth. Something happened in their past where they were betrayed by a lot of their female friends, but now they're carrying a wound that now is not allowing them to even see beautiful friends that are in front of them. No, we can all agree that there are beautiful friendships out there. So at one point you need to sit back and wonder to yourself, why can I not have wonderful female friends? Why can I, if they are existing out there and other people have access to them, then what is it that is causing me to not attract the right group of friends? Sometimes your brain is looking to prove itself right by looking for situations that validate what you went through. But once you rewire your brain and you're like, okay, no, I'm no longer trying to validate my past pain. I want to navigate having wonderful friends. I want to know how it feels like to have close circle of friends that I can call sisters. Once you say that, you realize that some of the things that you were doing were actually repelling the good friends. Maybe when they come, you actually are not very welcoming and you don't even try to get to know them. Or maybe now you have now become the one who exudes that negative energy in friendships that other women cannot even trust to be around you. So sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it is actually starting from within. What is going on around you is because of what's happening within you. And I know you can be like, but it's not my fault that I've went through this. Life was tough on me. Everybody in life goes through something difficult. People go through different challenges. Some range from small, some are difficult and some are not, but everybody has the chance to make themselves a victim in their story. But are you going to choose to be a victim or a victor? You actually have a choice. It's just that the process of self-realization and trying to work on yourself is tough, because it's almost like you're reopening the wounds that you would rather just keep over there dormant and untouched. The process of going back and saying, this thing hurt me, no matter how many years ago it happened, it is a painful process. And you might find that a lot of people that go through the process of healing start crying over things that happened in their childhood, because they never got time to process it or even speak about it, because they never had a voice. But these things shaped how they saw the world. They even shaped their confidence or even their ability to speak up. But now, if you decide to then go back and address and heal your inner wounds, your inner child wounds, and all the other wounds that you experienced throughout your life, you will see yourself now attracting new opportunities. You'll see yourself now able to see the world in a different perspective, in a more positive perspective. You will see that you can actually try again. You know, it doesn't mean that if something worked out horribly last time, that's the same thing that's gonna happen again this time. That's why a lot of people lose hope and are hopeless and are just wondering what is the point of life, because they've lost their hope and they feel like life keeps repeating itself. If you take a look at your life and you can acknowledge that you do need healing, that there were some things that happened to you that you have not yet let go, then that's the first starting point. Healing steps do not even have to be that deep, depending on how deep your situation is. Sometimes exposure therapy is the best help you could ever need. It's like, for example, you got bullied. Let's just keep using the bullied example. You got bullied in school, and thus you lost your confidence and you were not able to present. What do you do when you get into a workplace where you now need to stand out and actually speak up? You keep asking for opportunities to speak. And at first you will be shivering, you will be terrified, and you would not want to do it. But with time, you will actually get used to it and you actually grow your confidence. Because what are you doing to your brain? You're letting your brain know that it is safe to be seen, it is safe for me to speak, and when I speak, people listen. So you're rewriting that, you're erasing the trauma and rewriting a new understanding, so that next time when you're in front of people, your brain will not try to keep you safe by making you stammer, or keep you safe by making you so nervous that you want to run off the stage. And that's what people don't even realize, that they don't even realize that the problem they now have with speaking in front of people probably started when they were young, or probably started with people saying negative words like who do you think you are, when they're probably trying to make a speech when they're young. It's things that are trivial like that slowly mount up and build up into big issues that adults then experience, but they affect them for the rest of their lives, and unless they decide to change course. I myself used to struggle with speaking, but when I went into the workplace, I knew I would need to be someone who can converse with the clients and someone who can just present when it is needed. So what did I do? I actually asked and volunteered to be on projects that required me to, stand up and get out of my shell and leave my comfort zone. And the first time I had to speak, I had prepared a nice speech and I was stammering. And I do not stammer, but I was stammering in the boardroom, filled with the directors and the whole team. My voice was adulating and it was changing tones. It almost was, I thought my voice was failing me on that day, honestly. But the next time I did it, I realized that I'd gained a lot more confidence. And the next time I did it in front of a bigger team. And, it continued like that until I actually became more and more confident. So sometimes just exposure therapy can help you to overcome some of the wounds that you, or the traumas that you have with public speaking. But that's just in the simplest of examples. With other situations like deeper wounds like childhood trauma, or you grew up in an abusive family, or like you were abused when you were young, you'd obviously need to seek therapy and speak to someone to really help you, because instead of you thriving and now having your own family that is beautiful when you're an adult, you might still have residues of that can be affecting you in your daily life, even with committing or trusting your husband. If he is to show up, you might not even trust him because of the trauma you have from the past. So you do need therapy. And I know in African families, therapy is something that is very shied away from. It's almost like if you say I'm going to therapy, they think you're going crazy. But the more we have resources now, the more we have access to the internet, we are realizing that no, therapy is actually not for people who are going crazy. It's just for people who want to unpack. You need help to unpack some of the things that you went through that you couldn't even speak about when you were young. You need to help to unpack even the things that you went through as an adult, but you didn't have a lot of support around you, so that now you can be able to leave it in the past and move on. Because as long as you are carrying it, whether you know it or not, it is subconsciously sabotaging your life, because you're probably not able to handle conversations well. You're probably not able to navigate situations with wisdom or with clarity, because you just resort to thinking and overthinking and concluding that this is what's going to happen, just because of the previous things that happened in your life that you were not able to process. Also, you should involve God in your healing process. The same way you pray for God to provide you with a house, the same way you pray for God to provide you with a job, you can actually ask Him to heal you. What we don't know is that God is our creator, and He knows everything in every aspect of our lives. That He could even tell you you must do something, and that something that you do could lead to your healing and could open doors that were hindered because that action was not done. What do I mean by that? Sometimes we can prevent our own healing by not forgiving. And of course, I'm not exonerating what people would have done, because I know people can go to heights that are unbelievable. I've had my fair share of friendship betrayals that were baffling, but I understand the importance of forgiveness for myself and for yourself. Sometimes you have to do it for yourself, and sometimes you can be praying for God to heal you, and then He could direct you to forgive that one person you said, I will never forgive. What they did to me was unfathomable, and I will never forgive them. And He'll be like, my child, you need to forgive them. And the moment you decide, because it's so hard, you can even ask the Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, help me to actually forgive. Give me the strength that I need to forgive. Because yes, I understand that people can really do you wrong. And yeah, I get it. So the Holy Spirit can intervene with giving you strength to heal. And once you lift that burden, you can find that whatever sickness probably you had can actually disappear. I've actually watched a sermon where one of the preachers was talking about, he was praying for people, and there was this lady who had a lump in her chest. And as he was praying for her, he told her, can you touch your chest? Do you feel the lump, if the lump is still there? And she said, no, it's gone. And she was so excited. And this preacher then said, God is telling me to tell you to forgive your ex-husband. So apparently this ex-husband of hers had done the unthinkable to her, and she was like, no. And you see what I'm saying? Like, it's understandable that you went through a lot. People would probably have done things to you that you are like, nah, you crossed the line. But at the end of the day, you are the one who's carrying that residue, that bitterness that can manifest into illnesses. And then now, when you're told to now let go, if you choose to not, thinking that you are still punishing the other person, no, you're not punishing the other person, you're punishing yourself by holding on, because it causes sickness. Unforgiveness leads to sickness, lots of diseases that people don't even know that are coming from, resentment, bitterness, and unforgiveness. So that's why I'm like, involve God in your process of healing, because a lot of times healing involves forgiving, and sometimes you have to forgive people that didn't even ask for forgiveness. Yep, which is very hard, but with God all things are possible. So we've come to the end of this video. I hope you found this video very, very helpful. It's just a topic that I've been thinking of putting out there, because I know it's not really spoken about where I'm from, but I'm just hoping to encourage someone to start healing and start forgiving, because it's for your own good. And I hope you really enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to like the video, comment down below what you've been going through and how forgiveness or healing has helped to expand your life. And I'll see you on my next video. Love you.